Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are ready to launch our monopropellant module up to the moon base, or rather the Minmus base, and once there, that will complete our contract at long last, and then we'll be free to do things kind of just on our own at the Minmus base. So let's go ahead and launch this guy, and hope that the rocket doesn't get that fancy little drift. We'll try turning off the, or turning on the brakes immediately, and I'm going to be checking for the drift before we launch this. Okay, brakes action group is on. Just doing some drift checking. Looks like we've got the drift. That's exciting stuff. Okay, let's get out of here. I'm just taking this straight up, and hopefully the engines will be able to compensate for the drift issues. And it looks like they can. Let's just hold attitude right here for now. 90 degrees is this way, based on our current directionality, which is exciting. But that's okay. So, what's our... we want to be in maneuver mode. What's our apoapsis at right now? About 10 kilometers. There's no way I'm starting the gravity turn right now with this mess of exposed aerodynamics. That is not happening. We are currently drifting the correct direction, though. The gravity turn is automatically happening. Oh, it's correcting. Ditching the solid rocket motors. So we got a little bit of horizontal speed there, but not as much as I perhaps would have liked. Now this is using the 3-skipper build. This is not using a mainsail at all. We should probably go back and update our heavy lifter. Maybe we'll do that after this mission, because this is a bit outdated at this point. So our apoapsis is currently at about 55 kilometers. Once we get a little more, I'm going to turn. I'm turning. Hopefully, we won't do a spin flip, because that would be awkward. But I think at these altitudes, it's pretty unlikely. So let's get this turn done. There we go. That's looking pretty decent there. Ditch off our booster stages, which should make this thing a bit more controllable. Our apoapsis is currently 80 kilometers. Time to apoapsis is decreasing right now, so we need to continue to burn. And of course, we do still need about another 1,200 meters per second to get into orbit, which we should be able to do with our initial stage here. We are now officially in space. And time to apoapsis is still decreasing, so we are going to continue burning in this direction. We're about 6 kilometers below our apoapsis, so that's fine. Once we get into orbit, we are going to need to adjust our inclination, since we're going to Minmus. But again, it's completely fine. We are about 30 seconds to apoapsis, and we still need about another 600 meters per second to get into orbit. "20 seconds to apoapsis. Make that more like Actually, this is going down slower. Probably since we're basically at prograde now. We are going to be in orbit momentarily. Honestly, given what we were launching, that's about as good of a launch as I could have hoped for. That's really nice. Okay, let's go ahead and set Minmus as our inclination, or rather as our target to change our inclination. And let's see here, at the ascending node here, we need to change by 6.1 degrees. That is perfectly fine. And I just realized we also didn't put in our fancy new lock to maneuver drone cores. That's okay. I can continue doing it manually. That'll be good right there. So, before I forget, let's go ahead and extend our solar panels. There we go. Fantastic. So now we have power coming in, and let's go ahead and very, very slowly rotate over to our inclination change burn. Now this is going to use slightly more than we've got in our core stage, so we are going to have to dip into our maneuver stage for it, but that's okay. That's what the maneuver stage is there for. It's designed to get us to Minmus. So honestly, the fact that we've got like 189 meters per second left over, that's just a bonus. We'll go ahead and warp to next maneuver at this point. Here we are. So this is going to be a 17-second burn if it was all this stage. We should assume that it's going to be a little longer because the thrust to weight of these of this Poodle vacuum engine is going to be far lower than the thrust to weight of our skipper. Realistically, we're looking at 1.65 versus 0.83, so about double. So I'm going to do this at about T-minus 17 seconds. So let's go ahead and go forward a little bit. And burn now. Okay, I'm going to give it until T-minus 0. And off we go. I do want to get that extra 0.9 meters per second in. So let's do that. That should be good. We overshot slightly, but that's okay. 0.1 degrees is close enough for orbital dynamics work. At least this kind of orbital dynamics work. If we were going to Elu, not close enough. That is not a very good approach there. We need to be quite a bit further over. That's more like it. What do we got over here? I think we need to delay this a little longer. Yeah, that looks pretty good. What's that orbit look like? Okay, we can tweak this from here. Add in a tiny amount of radial. And retrograde. No, not prograde. I want retrograde. No. Did I say radial? I did say radial. What I meant was normal. And at this point, I want retrograde, not prograde. I want to be coming in the other side of Minmus. I want to be catching up to it, not going the same... I want to be going the same direction as the rotation of Minmus for this particular approach. And what does it look like without the normal? Okay. Let's go ahead and toss in a bit of normal. That's too much normal. I want a nice equatorial orbit here if I can help it. I'm not sure I can help it. We can adjust the inclination later on. This is a fine encounter. So let's go ahead and head up to that maneuver node. This is going to be largely prograde by the time we get there. Come on. Right now, it's more like retrograde, though. Okay, close enough. And let's just warp to next maneuver if we can see it through all of the junk we've put around Kerbin. Warp to next maneuver behind the X Science window. Okay. So we're a little bit off of our node, but that's fine. 1 minute 36 second burn. So 48 seconds is what we're looking at here for our T- burn time. Let's just let that go forward a little bit. And I let it go forward a little too much, but that's okay. Just gonna sit right in this node and accelerate off. Minmus, here we come. This is going to burn about half of this tank, and then we'll burn the rest on changing inclination and braking and just adjusting our orbit in general over Minmus. And maybe a little bit of descent, if we've got any left over. This is a lot of Delta V in this tank, actually. Might be more like a third rather than half that we're going to burn off here. Okay. Let's adjust our heading a little bit. The node has drifted. There we go. I do like the design of this thing, actually. I just wish wheels were a little more reliable in this game. They tend to not be. Okay. Here comes our orbit. 90 more meters per second gets you from here to here. It's insane. Okay, I'm going to do this much more slowly now. 4.6 meters per second to go. Gotta be pretty accurate when going this far, although Minmus isn't as accurate as you gotta be for some things. Okay, let's just hit that node again. There we go. That should do the trick. We'll need to adjust our inclination a little bit to be sure. But let's just go ahead and plot a retrograde burn right here. And we'll bring our orbit down to about 30 kilometers, I think. That should do the trick. Our inclination is definitely a little bit wacky, but we can fix that easily enough. So let's go ahead and warp to that braking burn. This is going to be basically a pure retrograde burn once we get there, so I'm just going to lock to retrograde because I'm lazy and don't feel like actually hitting the node. And I'm sure it'll be fine. We have signal strength back, which is expected because we have plenty of communications infrastructure around Minmus. This is going to be a 19-second burn, so we burn this at T-minus 9.5 seconds. So let's go ahead and warp forward to that. So about there. Okay, how's this orbit looking? Well, we're not there yet. Perfect. Good enough. Okay, well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we will head to our base. Subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time.